Well, as one part of Bollywood, led by Salman Khan, Karan Johar and Mahesh Bhatt, defends the Pakistani stars and says they don't need to take a position on anything because they are stars. There's one person, one singer who's shown the way for the rest of his fraternity. Adnan Sami, a singer with Pakistani origins and now a proud Indian citizen, has condemned terror and has even questioned those across the border who targeted him. And Adnan Sami joins me live right now on News Hour Direct. Adnan, good afternoon, good talking to you. How are you? I wonder, Adnan, if you have seen...
Very well.
You've seen there is a certain controversy of late, and after you said big congratulations to Prime Minister Narendra Modi and our armed forces for a brilliant, successful and mature strategic strike against terrorism, and you said you salute them, then there's been a backlash from certain people. Especially people from Pakistan who are calling you names like Gaddar. What would you say to these people, Adnan?
Well, you know, the thing is that it's the freedom of speech. They want to say whatever they wish. The fact of the matter is that I'm very clear about my stand, and that is that I stand for humanity and I stand for peace. And any source, anyone who is going to disrupt the peace and attack humanity, I'm not going to stand for that. And we have always been very vocal about terrorist attacks, whether they were in Mumbai in 26/11, or whether they were in 9/11, whether they were Paris, whether they were Munich recently. We have always condemned such things, and the attack that took place in Uri was another very, very tragic attack. It was unprovoked and it was a terrorist attack, and we need to be very clear that we're not going to stand for that. I mean, I need somebody to explain to me what is this thing called Aman ki Asha. What is Aman? Peace. Ki Asha, desire. What do we desire? What is it? What is it all about? It's about peace. It's about wanting peace. Now we want peace from any kind of destruction of mankind. We want peace so that we can live in harmony. And if we have any kind of threat of peace, of humanity, regardless of whether it is in Peshawar, of the army public school, where children, little children, who happen to be absolutely, you don't get more innocent than that. The whole world condemned that. The whole world condemned all of these various ones. Even, I mean, in Peshawar, they condemned people from our fraternity. From here, they condemned it. You condemned it, Adnan. So the point of the matter is that terrorism, we need to be very straight about one thing, and that is terrorism has no country, has no religion. And we as a human race need to put everything aside and say, hey, we want peace. Let's first tackle this. And this is unacceptable.
So
and it
why
doesn't matter which part of the divide
Adnan, why is it so complicated?
You are a human being first.
You know, Adnan, you mentioned Peshawar. When the Peshawar attacks happened, we condemned it. We spoke against it.
Yes.
Right. Now, why can't Fawad Khan,
of course, yes,
take the same position as yours? Why can't Fawad Khan speak out against the terrorism that leads to the Uri attack? Why can't he? What's his compulsion? What's his problem?
Frankly speaking, that's something that only he can answer. You know, but the point is that if the argument or the consideration is that if I say something against the attack that took place in Uri, that it tantamounts to me condemning my government or my army, then, excuse me, everyone, including the government of Pakistan, have turned around very clearly and said that the terrorists are not connected to us, which is fine, fair enough. If that is your position, fine. then that means that they are not owned by anybody. So they are an enemy to mankind. So as a humanist, as a human being, you have to condemn it. And you, when people look beyond boundaries and they condemn all these things, it doesn't make you taking sides with it. This has got nothing to do with country. We have to rise above that.
Now Adnan, what many people are saying this tonight.
Our people.
No, when many people are saying tonight is that Adnan Sami is not a born Indian citizen. Adnan Sami has Pakistani origins who's chosen to become an Indian citizen. And look at how he speaks. And if Adnan Sami can speak like that, then why is Salman Khan saying, on the other hand, that he does not expect these stars, Pakistani stars, to take a position against terrorism? Whether it's Ali Zafar, Atif Aslam or anyone else.
Well, you see, the point is that, again, I'm not here to judge anyone, whether it is Salman or whether it is Fawad or anybody else. To each his own. And everyone is entitled to their opinion. I can only speak about myself. That when Mumbai 26/11 happened, I was not an Indian citizen. I was holding a Pakistani passport. But Mumbai is my city. I lived there. I may be a foreigner at that time, but I lived there. I earned my livelihood from there. I feel a part of it. And I felt a part of it even then. And when that happened, I felt as outraged as anyone in my neighborhood. And I condemned it. And that was an attack that happened right before our eyes. For 48 hours, you were only looking at the Taj blazing away. It was in your face. Uri is far away. But that was right in front of my eyes, and it affected all of us, and I condemned it. So, like I said, everyone is made of different matter. So
no, but look at the hypocrisy of it, Adnan.
Turn around
Adnan, look at the hypocrisy of it. You see, Adnan, look at the hypocrisy of it. Fawad Khan, Ali Zafar, Mahir Khan, they all came out in unison after the Paris attacks. Rightly so. They came out in unison after the Peshawar attacks. Rightly so. They recorded a song. They showed their solidarity. But it appears to me that today they are absolutely unfeeling about what the Indian people go through as victims of terrorism. Here they want to completely de-link themselves. Here they become completely a part of the Pakistani establishment. Tell me, Adnan, do you buy this whole theory that stars should not have any views? This is, this is the ridiculous theory that is being pushed by people like Karan Johar, Mahesh Bhatt and Salman Khan. You don't want to comment on them, that's okay, but I'm commenting on them. I think their position is absolutely ridiculous with a capital R. Does it happen anywhere, Adnan Sani, that a star says, I live in my bubble? I don't know what's happening in the world around me. So what if thousands of people die, there is a lot of bloodshed outside? I'm just a singer. I'm an actor. This is bizarre. Does it happen anywhere in the world, Adnan?
Well, Arnab, if you want to talk about the world, celebrities are some of the most active and some of the most influential people in world politics. I mean, you go back in time. I mean, when you look into World War II, all of the people who, whether it was Bob Hope or whether it was George Burns, whether it was Frank Sinatra, they were, when World War II was happening, Bob Hope was touring all over the world, wherever the troops were. They were giving them support. They were lending their voice to the cause of the Allies. Frank Sinatra was involved in politics, and he was also involved in the war efforts. Elvis, he joined the army. And so the point of the matter is that, these are matters in recent history. You have so many people who are lending themselves to political views, and they take very, very firm stands. You take a look at Bono from U2. He is very vocal about his political views. Angelina Jolie is very actively involved in world affairs. So celebrities are all over the world are voicing their stand on matters that mean a lot to them. And so I don't think it's a new phenomenon at all. It's very much an integral part of Clint Eastwood has taken very, very firm stands. Oprah has taken firm stands. So this is, I think, it's a myth. I mean, it's absolutely out there.
Well,
They're doing it all the time.
You know, artists are not above reality.
It should be a problem.
Artists are about life, and if
John Lennon,
absolutely,
wow.
John Lennon, absolutely. You know, if art is borderless, Adnan, I think that every artist, including Pakistani artists, should be condemning the constant provocation by Pakistan vis-a-vis India. And you raised the question of Mumbai, absolutely right. These artists should also then question why Nawaz Sharif declared Burhan Wani, who's a terrorist, as a leader of a freedom, peaceful movement. If I may just, I have a few of your quotes out here, and I want you to explain this in detail. One where you say, on Pakistani artists staying silent on terrorism, you say, if your host has extended you a warm welcome and suddenly a fire breaks out in the house, do you just run away? Can you elaborate on that?
It's a fact.
Can you elaborate on that in the present context?
Yes. Look, it's like this. It's very... Sure. I mean, the point is that when you come to a place and you're extended a warm welcome, and you're hosted, you are taken care of, you are being facilitated, you're doing all the things that you want to do, you want to pursue your dreams, and you're being completely cajoled for that. Then when hell breaks out, you suddenly disappear and not even lend a little shoulder. I mean, I think when someone is going through a tragic moment in their life, they expect some of their they expect their loved ones to show a little bit of sympathy. And I think that is something, and just a word. I mean, is that too much?
That's what I've been asking, Adnan. Is it too much to ask?
I don't see.
Is one word, exactly the point, Adnan. I've been thinking about this over the last few days, right? And I've seen people take militant positions, saying we will not say anything because we are stars. By the same logic, Adnan, tomorrow an Indian star can say when 26/11 happens, and God forbid a terrorist incident.
Arnab, if I may say, these are basic etiquettes, and especially in our culture, mehman nawazi, tehzeeb, tamiz.
Bilkul.
That's all I want to say. I mean, that's it. I mean, if I cut my finger, are you not going to turn around and say to me, "Oh God, I'm sorry. I hope it's okay. It's not hurting you too much"? That. Right now, we lost 19 soldiers on an unprovoked attack by terrorists. If you just simply say, this is really unfortunate. I'm really sorry about your loss. That's it. You're not condemning anybody. But that little sentence will go miles in the hearts of the people that love you. And they want to hear that from you.
Adnan, tell me, you're a singer, you're celebrated across the entire world, and I think the point that you made there is when the top singers, stars, actors around the entire world can take principled position on important issues happening around them. I want you to take it a little step further, because over the last few days, I don't know if you've been watching any of our programs, Adnan, but over the last few days, we have seen this almost unnaturally hyper response. Every time you ask people from this group I call pseudo-liberal, you ask them, why don't the Pakistani stars speak against terrorism? I'm not asking them to speak against Nawaz Sharif. I'm not asking them to speak against the Pakistan army. I want them to speak against terrorism. And the counter argument made at that point of time is, oh, but why should we? It is our right not to speak. And the simple point I've been trying to get across is that in these situations, you cannot say that you're insulated from the society you live in. You're not insulated from the people who love you. You're not insulated from the people who hold you in high esteem, who seek you out, whose adulation you live on. So do you see something? I mean, I don't know if there's something like this whichever happens. I saw, on the other hand, Wasim Akram on Pakistani television saying all of Pakistan must unite. Why don't we hear some of the top stars in India speak that kind of language? What is holding them back? Political correctness or something else? Some vague, false form of political correctness or something else?
Well, the thing is that on a personal note, there are people who are recluses, right? They're recluse, and they don't speak much, and I respect that. They choose, for example, social media. There are a lot of people who are not on social media, and they feel that they'll only speak when they are interviewed or something, and they don't feel like that very, very up close interaction. However, the point is that if you have gone a particular route and you've created a precedent, and you have started to speak about certain things, then it is not important for you to speak on everything. But when people are following and knowing fully well that you do speak up on certain important matters, or some things that are, if you want to sort of, there might be certain topics that on social media I would not want to talk about. I'm not interested in voicing my views on it. Fine. But if I've chosen to voice my opinion on certain things, then when it comes to things that are, if you're prepared to condemn a Paris attack or
Orlando shooting,
the one that happened around the subways in London or Orlando, yes, then that is way over there, and then you decide not to speak about a tragedy that has happened right under your nose, is something which is a very questionable form of selection, and it does in the overall geographical times of a little bit of strain, it starts questioning your sense of proximity to where you stand on a particular matter, and that does matter sometimes. If I have someone who is coming into my house and enjoying my hospitality, and then after that, not, like I said, not giving me a certain kind of even a moral support at a difficult moment in my life, or a difficult time, then I will feel, we have a natural thing that, so and so was close to me, he didn't call me when I was going through this, he didn't even bother asking me, am I okay? This is human behavior, and that needs to be understood and respected.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why.
So tell me, Adnan, when you react,
not want to
when
speak.
you react, and you're a gut feel kind of person. I've known you for some time. You respond on the spur of the moment. Sometimes you say something and then think about. This time, you responded on this. You responded on the spot. It was. Tell me about your initial reactions. Did you ever think that some people in Pakistan may criticize me? I mean, the same sense of trepidation was not there in your mind. Tell me about your reaction. How long did it, when you sent out that tweet and you said Pakistanis are outraged by my earlier tweet, their outburst clearly means that they see terrorists and Pakistan as the same. And you use the hashtag self-goal and the hashtag stop terrorism. Yes. I thought that was as straightforward as one could get, on
That's
September
right.
30th when you said that.
Yeah, well, the thing is that when I wrote the first tweet, I did think about the possible repercussions, but I felt too strongly in my heart to do anything otherwise, because I felt that it was something that I was emotional about. I'm an emotional person, and I said, well, this is the way I feel, and I'm gonna tweet it. However, I will also tell you that even though I may have anticipated a certain amount of negativity towards it, I didn't have the faintest clue that it would just suddenly go gigantic, and it would create such a ruckus. So when I saw in fact, I made the tweet and I went to sleep. When I woke up the next morning, there was mayhem on Twitter, and I was outraged myself. And I read my tweet again. I said, what was wrong with it? And I said to myself, I'm very clear. I was following the exact what was said by the army chief in his press conference. He never mentioned Pakistan. He was talking about the terrorists.
Yeah.
That we attacked the terrorist camps. And he was very clear that this was a very, very surgical strike to eliminate the terrorist camps. And so that was the brief that was there, and so keeping that brief in mind, I tweeted accordingly. I didn't put any any implications or whatever otherwise, because it's not my place to do that. This is a very, very sensitive matter. So therefore, when I woke up and I saw these absolute outrageous reactions, I sort of said, my follow-up tweet sort of said it all. That why are you thinking that I've written terrorist and that automatically means that I'm implying Pakistan?
Yep. There are a lot of people.
So that was something that I found
there's
absolutely absurd.
So many people right now calling in to say one thing. Why can't Karan Johar speak the sense that Adnan Sami does on this? Why can't Mahesh Bhatt speak the sense that Adnan Sami does, or Salman Khan speak the sense that Adnan Sami does? I know you're trying to stay out of it, but I just wanted to let you know that's what everyone's asking. Because there's a straightforwardness in what you're saying out here. Now, you began by saying this, and I agree with you. The same stars will say nothing about Uri. They won't say, yeah, you wanted to say something. Yeah, go on. No, you wanted to say something there. Go on. Go on.
No, all I wanted to say was that Arnab, we live in a very complicated world. There's certain things that are very simple, and they're right in your face. Why complicate them? This is a banana. Okay? That's it. There's nothing more to it. That is an attack. A terrorist attack. That's all that's there to it. That's it. There's nothing more to it. What is the rocket science in this?
Finally, Adnan,
keep it simple.
You began by saying you don't understand these peace brigades. I have never understood them. And here's the biggest hypocrisy of it. Here's the biggest self-contradiction or self-goal, as you would say, Adnan. The same stars say we have nothing to do with politics, nothing to do with what's happening between two sovereign nations. We have nothing to do with terrorism. We have nothing to do with bloodshed. We have nothing to do with why people are dying. We have nothing to do with guns being smuggled. We have nothing to do with Lashkar-e-Toiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed. We have nothing to do with anyone. We are stars. We exist on the screen. We occasionally descend on planet Earth. This seems to be the kind of response that I'm hearing today, and frightening number of people in the self-serving pseudo-liberal fraternity are buying it. However, the same people also push another argument, Adnan. You know what that is? That is that we are the ambassadors of peace. And hence, because there will be Pakistani stars in India, there will be peace between India and Pakistan. Or if Pakistani stars in India can continue to take part in movies without taking a position on terrorism, things will be hunky-dory. I believe, I don't know, but I think this gives a false sense of normalcy. And that's fake. It's a fake and false sense of normalcy. An attempt to create that, Adnan. I don't know what you think.
Okay, here's how I look at it. All right, ambassadors of peace. Absolutely, absolutely. Now, you're going to be an ambassador of peace between what? Countries, right? In this context, you're talking about India and Pakistan, right? Now, in order to have that peace, you have to first address what is disturbing that peace. All right? So as an ambassador of peace, you go to the government and you say, excuse me, this is happening, right? They turn around and say, you know what? We're not doing it. It is the terrorists who are doing it. So, all right. Then a kind of an accusation goes in that, you know what? I've heard this from various channels and reports on the newspapers that accusations go in that your government is sponsoring it. I said, excuse me, we are not sponsoring it. In fact, we are the biggest victim of it. Granted that they are as much our enemies as they are to the world. Okay, even that is accepted. Now, we have now arrived at a point where both countries are saying that these elements are dangerous for both countries. They are harming both the countries. After all, Peshawar is just one example. The suicide bombs that happen in the mosques in Pakistan is yet another example, and in the bazaars and so on and so forth. All right, so we have now identified that, let's agree upon for a moment that these terrorists are now, they are enemies of Pakistan because they're attacking Pakistan, and they're enemies of India. Agreed. So we have a common enemy. All right, we are ambassadors of peace. We still want peace, and these people are disturbing the peace. Eliminate them. Because they are an enemy to mankind, and hence they are an enemy of peace. Once that destructive element is removed, then the ambassadors of peace can flourish. And the two countries can then talk about anything under the sun.
Yep.
But you need to first remove that cancer that is eating up both the countries. And that has to be done.
Yep.
In order for us to, right now, there is no peace to be an ambassador of.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And the quicker you realize that and accept that as a reality.
Yeah. Adnan, now, do you think that before Fawad, Ali Zafar, Atif Aslam or anyone come back to India to resume their careers, provided, it's their choice whether they want to, that they should make it clear that they are against terrorism, and especially the terrorism that affects India. Over the last many decades, the terrorism from Pakistan that has affected India. Do you think they should make that clear?
Arnab, I think that every peace-loving, civilized human being on earth is going to be against terrorism. There's absolutely no doubt about that. There are, there are times when you are a little quiet about it, and I don't think that there's any reason to be quiet about it. But then that's me. I mean, I cannot speak for anybody else. I mean, if you turn around to me and say that my trousers, my jeans are blue, say it. It's blue, and I refuse to say it. What can I do?
Absolutely. Well, Adnan, thank you
But
for
it's up to
speaking
them.
up
They'll have to say it.
and for your courage, for being forthright, for not backing off. I know you've been subject to fairly venomous attacks, but I know that you will continue to be as straight talking as you have been on this.
Yes, sir.
A lot of support coming in for you. Adnan Sami, thank you for joining me on News Hour today. Thank you, Adnan.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Arnav. All the best to you.